Okay, so guys, today we're going to talk about geography, which is your Studies Weekly Week 2. So before we get into the material, geography has a lot to do with studying maps. So I was wondering, you guys can raise your hand or write something on your smartboard if you could tell me why we use maps or why we might need them. Nico? Oh goodness, do I have you?
If we ever get lost, we could try to remember a map or
Yeah.
to know where we're going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, do you have a map? Do you have a phone?
Huh?
Do you have a phone? Because you can always find maps on your phone too, right? Okay. So there are other things we use maps for too. Do you guys ever see maps on TV or at the mall, other places like that? Hatham?
I've seen it at the Deptford Mall in some movies.
Yeah, so do you, when you look at them, you might be looking for stores or certain food areas? Naomi?
Sometimes you'll see maps near the airport for tourists, and also on the TV when you watch the weather channel.
Yeah, the Weather Channel, so it's showing you where the storms are coming from or where different weather is, so you can prepare for that. Do you ever see them about the election coming up? You do? So Layla, what are they usually talking about when they have maps about the election? You can unmute yourself. Are you stuck? Okay. Well, usually the maps on TV about the election, you'll see it'll be blue or red, talking about who they think the state is going to want to pick for president. So what is geography? It's usually when we study Earth and people on Earth in different places. And there are 5 themes of geography. You can put them together to make Mr. Help to help you remember what each one is. So the first one is movement. Oh, okay, that's fine. Movement, so when people move from place to place, and it's not just moving to a new home, it could be how far you travel for work, or go to the store, or do you have everything at home? The next one is region. So region is how we organize areas. So if you notice the states around us, like Pennsylvania, their land is kind of similar, their weather is kind of similar, everything isn't that crazy different from us. Next is human-environment interaction. That's how we interact with the environment. We'll talk about that towards the end of the presentation. Okay, so location is when you're looking for where things are located at. You want to find exactly where something is or where something's near. And place, when we talk about place, we're describing the characteristics of it. So what it looks like, what might be there. So we often study geography in many different ways, and they often have to do with the themes I just talked about. So a globe is a model of the Earth. Have you guys seen a globe? Thumbs up or thumbs down if you've seen one before. Good. Yeah, we're going to talk about them when we talk about physical maps. So maps are like a globe that's flat that we use to see different places around the world or drawings of places around the world. Okay. And a cartographer is a map maker. That's what these fancy men over here are doing. So there are different parts of a map that help you read it and figure things out. A legend or a key explains what certain symbols mean. So in this picture here, it says population density. So it's telling how many people there are per square mile. So instead of just writing 250 to 600 to 600,000 people, they put a color there because the map would get very messy if we wrote all these things all over the different places of the town. It could also be pictures. So on your whiteboards, I'd like you to draw something that might be on the key to the map of Deptford. So it doesn't have to be colors. You can draw a little picture. So my town has 2 parks. So I would draw a picture of a swing to show that there are parks. And on the key, right next to it, I would write the word park. So take a few moments and then hold up your whiteboard so I can see your pictures. Very good, Hatham. So right next to the picture, what the symbol stands for. Because what we would see is a map of Deptford, and we'd see your picture, and then we'd look at the key and read what that picture means. Oh, that's nice. That goes like the shopping cart. So that would be places where you could shop on your map. Soccer fields, nice. What does that say, Hatham? Deptford Mall, yeah. Okay, let a couple more of you show off your pictures before we move on to the next one. I'd like to see it from all of you, but I understand if your camera's not working. Oh, hey Sienna, welcome. Food place is good. What's that say? School, yeah, that's a good one. There's a lot of schools in Deptford. Chick-fil-A, homes. What is that, Bria? Oh, a lake. That's very good. Okay. So we're going to move on to the next thing. So a scale shows the distance of a map. So if you have this picture on a map, it's showing you how big a mile is. So when they make a map, they can't make a map that's a real mile long because that would be as big as the place. So you could look at the map and go like this and put your finger up on the map to see the different how far things are away from each other. Like let's say there was a picture of the school here and you wanted to see how far away the lake was. You go like this and measure how many miles. Okay. Our last thing is a compass rose. Mr. Fury is very good at reading these. I am not. But it shows you, they have symbols that show you north, south, east, and west. And in between, they have different points that make your directions more precise. Okay. Longitude versus latitude. When I was your age, I got these mixed up a lot. So what I found was easiest to remember the main word and the definition. So longitude are vertical lines that go from the North Pole to the South Pole. And latitude, they're horizontal lines that go from north to south near the equator. So vertical lines go up and down. So when you think of vertical, you'll just see up and down, and then you'll think of the North Pole and the South Pole are the tops and bottoms of the earth. And then latitude has horizontal lines which go this way. So a way to remember that is horizontal has the word horizon in it. So when you see the sunrise, you kind of see the land going this way and lighting up from the sun. Okay. And then we have relative and absolute location. Relative location is where a place is relative or compared to. When I want to go somewhere, I usually want relative directions because that's easier for me to understand. If you say something is near something, I don't know where Taj is, but oh, he's right there. He just got in. So if you want to see where something is near something or next to something, to the left or right, they're general directions that help you find a place. So as you guys may know, the mall is next to Applebee's. That's an example of relative location. So absolute location is the exact location of the place. They're very detailed directions that will tell you how to get there. So an example of that is the mall is 1.9 miles from my house. So I don't know if you guys remember this, but GPS wasn't always on the phone. It was something you would hook up to your car so you could see the map as you were driving. So some people, they were just looking at this and not looking at the road. So what do you think might have happened? Connor?
They probably would have ran someone or something over. Maybe hit something, maybe get in a car crash.
Yeah. And then Haley?
Like something happened in front of him.
Yeah. Haley, did you have anything different to say? No? Okay. So if you're just looking at this, yeah, they might crash. A lot of people crashed. But if you're just looking at that and not the road, sometimes a road might be closed, or it might say to turn right, but that road might not be there anymore if it hasn't been updated, or there might be a new road that comes before the road they're talking about. So you could either get lost, you could crash into something. There was a TV show I saw once where they drove into the lake. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but the GPS said to turn right, they turned right and went right into the lake. So next we have physical maps. This is where we're going to talk about the globe. So they show the natural features of an area or a place. So if you look at this map, you can see green for the land, like the different types of land that has a lot of plant life, and then where there's deserts, it looks a little different. So if you think about globes, have you ever touched a globe? If you guys were here, I would have passed one around. Yep. Nick? Nico? Declan? So what have you seen on the globe? Or felt? Declan?
I felt like the mountains on the globe.
Mm-hmm. So if you
Well, it felt kind of smooth, besides those little bumpy parts to show the elevation.
yeah, so the parts that didn't have mountains were smooth, so that's telling you what the land is like there. And you're right, they had bumpy areas where there were mountains. So that's what I was asking you, what can you feel? And then what do you see? I was talking a little bit about the different colors, but what about in between here, these areas, the lines? What do you guys see in physical maps? Nico?
I was just stretching.
Oh, okay. You guys can also write your responses on your whiteboard if you don't want to raise your hand. Okay. So Maheen?
The different shapes on the physical maps.
Yeah, so you can see what the countries and continents are shaped like. The borders tell you what they're shaped like. Ava and Jordan, if you can, I'd like you to turn your cameras on. So we covered the mountains. You got on a lot of globes you can physically feel the bumps of the mountains, like Declan said, and you can see the different bodies of water. So here's the ocean. There's some rivers and lakes over here, and we talked about the colors, how they show what the different lands like. All right, so next are political maps. We talked about this during the pre-discussion when we were talking about how you'd see these on the election. So these maps show the borders of regions, countries, states, and cities of a So if you look at this map, you can see Texas, they have an edge around it, so you can tell where Texas starts and Texas ends. And they also label Texas, so you can see that that's Texas. So we talked about this in the pre-discussion, but have you ever seen political maps anywhere else besides TV? No? Yeah, that's usually where I see them too. But we see them a lot on TV right now. So we talk about the elections on TV. So they're usually colored red or blue for, like we talked about, for what the states are going to vote for. So next is a climate map. Does anyone know, again, you can write on your whiteboard if you don't want to, if your mic's not working or if you're not ready, raise your hand. But does anyone know the difference between climate and weather? See some of you are writing. Brielle?
Isn't weather just like the temperature, and climate is like rain, snow,
Close.
and like hail and stuff like that?
Close. I'll see if anyone else is. Declan?
Climate is the type of temperature, weather, I forget what else I was going to say, but it's the type of temperature, and weather in certain locations. For example, like Antarctica, there would be cold climate, and in New Jersey, here, we would have temperate climate.
Oh, very good. Yes.
Thank you.
Adriana, were you writing something down or are you taking notes? Looks like I see a pen. It looks like you're taking notes. Okay. So like Declan said, it's like the average weather conditions. So he said Antarctica is very cold. So that, and here is very temperate. So by that he means it's not too hot, it's not too cold. It's not like the desert here. It's not like 100 degrees every day. And weather is more of a day-to-day thing. So is it going to rain today? Is it going to snow tomorrow? Is it going to be sunny out tomorrow? Okay, so it shows whether a place is usually warm or cold or wet or dry every day. Not every day, but on average. So why might we need to know a place's climate? Haley? Peyton, were you raising your hand?
So you know what you need to dress in?
Yeah. So hold on, I need to go back. Oh, you're right back. There we go. Yeah, so if we need to, so we know where to dress, how to dress. So let's say you were going on vacation to Hawaii. You would want to know what the climate is like so you don't show up in a puffy coat and snow boots. You'd want to bring your bathing suit or shorts or short sleeve shirts. All right, a population map. So do you guys know what population means? Maheen?
It means like how many people are in a certain area.
Yep. Naomi, do you have anything to add?
I was gonna say the same thing.
Okay. All right, so, yep, this is a bit of a fancy definition, but it shows the overall distribution of a population in a particular area is what a population map does. So if you see here, there's a key in the map that shows, like here, it says less than 1, where it's dark green. So that's these areas right here on the map where you see dark green. And then all the way down here, this is 5,000. So you'll see red in the areas where there's 5,000 people. So symbols can show the different populations or colors. Some populations maps you'll see instead of colors, they have a bunch of dots. So when might this come in handy? Any ideas of when you would need a population map? Naomi?
Well, maybe when you're going somewhere that you don't know, you would probably need to know how many people are there so you can know. Because usually if it's a lot of people, there's usually going to be malls or like fast food places and stuff like that.
Yeah, very good. So, Nico? Were you going to say the same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, so I have some other ideas that might come up. So think about if you own a business. So maybe I own a cake business. If I'm here, there's like one person here. Here, there's like 5,000. So what might be different? Taj?
You would want to put your cake business somewhere that's mostly populated.
Yeah, very good.
So then you could get more business.
Yeah, so it would be much easier for me to sell my cakes in the area where there's lots of people than in the area where there's only one person. I only have one customer. People don't eat cake every day.
But you also don't want to have. But you also don't want to have your place where it's too much people, because then you could get overwhelmed.
Yeah, then I would need a bigger business because customers tend to get angry if they have to wait a long time. Very good. All right, so what if people need resources? So by that I mean, let's say here in this area, there was a fire, and there was a fire in this area too. And people need things like blankets, water, food. I would look at what would this map tell me? Nico? Are you stretching?
The amount of people that need the blankets.
Yeah,
and
so,
the other supplies.
yes, very good. So I'll get lots more blankets here where there's red than where the dark green is. So yeah, they might need more medicine, food, or water where there's lots of people. But in the areas where there's not so many people, I wouldn't need to bring so much. So I might need to bring like a few boxes in the areas where there's less people. But in the areas where there's lots of people, I might need a truck full of stuff. Okay, cultural maps. Cultural maps show the location of community cultures and resources. So in this map, it has little pictures in the key. So the one picture shows universities, another one, the university looks like a taller building. And then this is major monasteries with libraries that looks like a little house. So you'd use this map and see where the universities and where the monasteries are. So when might you need these maps? Taj?
I was just stretching.
Oh, Naomi? Were you raising your hand?
Maybe when we're moving somewhere, so then we can see, like, you know, if you have a teenager that's like graduating or something, then you can see where they want to go to college, or if that college is close enough.
Yeah. So when people get ready to go to college, like Naomi said, they go on a college tour. So they might have a map like this and drive around the country or go to lots of different places to find the different colleges and check them out. So who else? I think, were you raising your hand, Haley? No? Okay. Anyone else? Hatham?
So I was gonna say.
It's okay, you can unmute. You can also write it on your whiteboard if there's a lot of noise in the background. While Hatham's writing, does anyone else have any ideas? Let's see what he has to say. So how to see big, so to see how big things are? Yeah, so you might see all the things in different big cities. If there's a big area, you might want to look at the pictures to see what's there. So what I thought about was when you're going on vacation or traveling. What was that, Haley? Hold on, I'll get back to you in a minute. So when I was about your age, I went to Disney World, and they gave us a map kind of like this, but they had pictures to show the different rides and where you could get food and things like that. So it was easier, especially at Disney World where people come from all over the world and speak different languages. It was easier to look at the picture and see where you wanted to go. Okay, also hospitals. So let's say you're in France and you might not know where anything is because you're from the United States. And if you fall and hurt yourself or you're not feeling so good, you might want to look at a cultural map to find where the different hospitals are. So next is a historical map. If you look here, this is a very old map. It's very busy, lots of pictures. So historical maps were drawn or printed in the past. So this tells us how they saw the world in the past and what they thought the land might have looked like. So I'm going to show you a close-up picture of part of the map, and then I'll ask you what you notice in the map. So this is what they thought the ocean was like. Do you see, what do these look like? Any ideas? Naomi?
Are they houses? Or...
There are some houses, there were some houses over there, and right here, I believe these are houses, but you see here there's a red giant snake-like thing. It looks like he's going around a ship, and here are different giant fish. This looks like something's about to eat a ship. Hatham? And then I'll get to you, Brielle.
I was going to say, what are the red spots?
The red spots? So these look like shields. So it might be different countries' territory. Brielle?
Probably like a resort kind of place, maybe? I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to see because I'm doing it on a phone.
Okay.
So it's pretty tiny.
Yeah, so this red guy here, this is like a giant snake, and it looks like he's going around a ship. So what do you think they thought was out in the ocean? Here are some giant fish. This kind of looks like the Loch Ness Monster, but what do you think they thought they would encounter if they took a boat from here all the way across to here? Declan?
They thought they would encounter big giant sea monsters that could attack them and possibly injure them or kill them.
Yeah, so they didn't know. Yep, very good. So they couldn't go like scuba diving like we could. They didn't know much about what they couldn't see. So for all they knew, when they were going on ships across here, a giant sea monster was going to pop up and get them. So that tells us what people believed during the time period that this map was created. So our last thing is human-environment interaction. So this is how people interact with the environment by using it, changing it, or adjusting to it. So this man right here, he is using the environment. He caught a giant fish, and he is either going to set it free because he was using the environment for fun, he just likes to fish, or maybe he's using it for food to eat. Some people also, if they catch something really big, they like to donate it to a charity that feeds people so they can use that to give people meals. So here, the girls, it looks like they're schoolgirls because they're all in a uniform, they're planting a tree. to try to make the environment better. And then over here, some people are littering. They're changing the environment in a not so good way. So another way that we can adjust to the environment is wearing a coat. If you guys come back, when it starts getting cold, I have a coat that looks a lot like this. So you might see me if you get to see me in the flesh wearing one of these goofy looking puffy coats because I hate the cold. So I adjust to the environment by wearing coats when it's cold. Sometimes if I get really hot, I'll pull my hair up and wear different kinds of clothes. So how do you interact with your environment? Remember, you can write down on the whiteboard if your mic's not working or you're feeling too shy to talk. Maheen?
By like planting different plants or like roses.
Mm-hmm. So do you think that's a positive interaction? Something that does something good for the environment, or do you think it negatively affects the environment?
Positive?
Positive, yeah. So if you notice that areas with lots of plants, the air is a lot fresher and cleaner, and also it helps the soil. Maheen made the example of roses. She might see some bees coming around, different animals hanging out in her garden. Naomi?
Sometimes when you're on the beach, you'll see like bottles and stuff, and like soda cans, and you can always like pick those up and throw them away.
Yeah, good. So you're making a positive change to the environment by undoing some of the harm that people do. That's a very good thing to do. Anyone else? No? All right, that's okay. Oh, Peyton?
If there's like a hurt animal, you could help it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so have you ever seen, I feel like it was on the news recently, that if a horse gets stuck somewhere, or sometimes even an elephant, a helicopter will scoop that horse up. They'll put something around it, and they'll have a chain at the end of it looks like a tarp usually, that they scoop them up in, and they use a helicopter to take the horse or elephant or whatever animal's in there to safety. They use that for people too. When people get stuck in like rivers, or sometimes they hurt themselves where an ambulance can't get to them. Right. Would anyone else like to share? Naomi?
Yeah, one more thing. Maybe if a place has like a hurricane or something, you can donate to that like good.
Yeah, so you can help out the people there, help fix the environment there. Another thing would be, you would see that hurricane on the news, right? So let's say a crazy hurricane was coming towards Deptford. Would you just be sitting outside chilling, playing with your friends? If you knew a hurricane was going to come within the next half hour? No, Peyton says no. You would either get soaked, it's pretty dangerous. So what might you do? Peyton?
Like start to prepare for it and put like sandbags over things, like over your front door.
Yes. Layla? I think your microphone might be stuck earlier. You're writing something down? Okay. I'll give you a moment because it looks like you're writing. While Layla's writing, anyone else? Yeah, you need to seek shelter. So that means either going somewhere safe, or some people, if they hear a hurricane's coming, they just get in their car and drive far away from it, and then they plan to come back. Oh, Adriana, what do you have on yours? Yeah, hate them get food so you don't have to go to the store during the storm. Maheen, did you have something? Adriana, you can hold up your whiteboard if you have something written down.
I was gonna say you could stock up on food.
Yeah, just like Hatham said. So if there's a big storm, you wouldn't want to have to run out and get food, you want to stay in a safe place until the hurricane's over. I think Adriana was taking notes. So that's the last topic we have for today. So on
Maybe
Canvas,
make sure that there's no glass near you so that if it breaks,
there
you
you
won't
go.
get hurt by it.
yeah, that's especially important during a tornado. So sometimes when there's a
No,
tornado,
like windows.
yeah, board up the windows.
And make sure there's like no windows.
Yeah. So sometimes people, they've never seen a storm before, so they want to look out the window to see what's going on. And that's not a good idea because if the window breaks, you're right next to the glass. Connor?
Can't you just get like a hammer and just break under the stairs and just seek shelter there?
Yeah, it depends on the storm. Some storms, I mean, I don't know why you need a hammer, but some people have a,
You can break through the wall.
I don't know.
Like, what happens if
Oh,
your house
yeah,
is
you
like
wouldn't-
in
I don't
a
think you-
really bad like hurricane
Yeah,
or storm,
they'd say
and your
evacuate.
house gets ripped off?
So there are different levels of storm. At that point, the government in your town would tell you to leave because
Okay.
your house is not worth your life. So you would just leave and come back and hope everything's fine when you come back. Okay, so now that we've finished, there's going to be an exit ticket for you guys to post on Canvas. You can also shoot some ideas out. Do mirrors count? No. So on Canvas, you can also join in the conversation here before we go. You're going to write two things. So one thing you learned and one thing you found interesting during the lesson. Does anyone want to share? Naomi?
I found the where you find the schools and stuff, that map. I found pretty interesting.
Oh, you like the cultural map?
Yeah.
That's good. Okay. Is anyone else? If not, you're going to post on Canvas. Well, either way, you're going to post on Canvas, but you can also share if you would like. Okay. I'll see you guys on Monday. Have a good weekend. Don't forget to post on Canvas. Bye.